America.
yeah.
We're going to hear, I'm sure, about how cold it is in southern U.S. because it's been cold all over North America this week.
Yeah,
so.
we want to, when we get Jason on, we want to talk about that from
Well, the reason I
Atlanta,
bring up
Georgia.
travel is one of our guests will be Harish Shroff of Indus Travels. Tell us why we're going to go in that direction today.
Well, first of all, Indus Travel does a number of chamber travel programs that, of course, the Greater KW Chamber, the Cambridge Chamber do and offer our members. But more importantly than that, we're really excited, both Ian and I are, because a good member of both chambers, actually, Gallagher's Travel, has just signed on to be the spotlight sponsor of our show. So we're going to be featuring some spots about Gallagher's every single week in our show. But more importantly, we're excited because we do actually do business with Gallagher's and with the chamber travel program, and that's why Harish is here.
Explain what you mean by they're our spotlight sponsor. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, well, as you know, and as our listeners would know, Save on Energy is our presenting sponsor and do a fantastic job, and we're pleased. And they do, we have an interview with them every week, but we have each half hour is presented by a presenting sponsor, a spotlight sponsor, and Gallagher's. We've been talking with them for a while. They're enjoying the show and the exposure that and the connection that we're making with our not only our own businesses but with the business community more broadly. And so they've agreed to come on and highlight not only what they offer in terms of travel for business and pleasure, but they do coordinate a lot of our, certainly from the Cambridge or the KW Chamber, they coordinate a lot of our trips. So when we have to work through a travel agency, and Gallagher has been doing a good job with us on that, and so it's fantastic that they're going to.
Well, they're great people too, Peter. We
Peter's
both know very,
guy.
very well.
Yep. Community guy and donating to sponsor or to worthy causes.
Made a significant contribution to the Cambridge Memorial Hospital this past summer, and he is a real true community leader from a business perspective. But I think what else is a big advantage for us, Glenn, that Ian and I are both very happy about is that we not only have a great spotlight sponsor and someone who supports the chamber through the partnership, but we also have a spotlight sponsor who has an office in both areas of our jurisdiction. So it's great. We have a Cambridge Gallagher's office, of course, run by Mike Dorsum, who also sits on the board of the Cambridge Chamber of Commerce, and of course Gallagher's has been in KW for a long, long time and does a fantastic
so we're going to be
job.
talking with Harry Shroff from Indus Travels. And by the way, it is Travels plural, right?
Yes.
Indus Travels. Is there some connection between Indus and Gallagher's? Is that?
Indus is a tour operator, so they put together all these tours. They liaise with the vendors in wherever we're going, and they provide the tour guides, and they don't go direct to the public. They deal through travel agencies. So Indus Travel deals with a number of them, and I'm really particularly pleased. We're going to have the representative this morning with Harish coming on, because Harish deals in the chamber travel program and deals with chambers all over North America, not just in Canada, not just in Ontario or in our area, but also deals with chambers in the U.S. as well.
And why this, and we've talked about this before, and why it's important is, and a lot of these are what we almost promote them as business vacations, because we're encouraging, and in fact, we had Peter Braid speaking yesterday at a chamber event, and part of what he was talking about was the importance of the free trade agreement, and how do our members in Cambridge, Kitchener-Waterloo, in this region, take advantage of this global marketplace. Well, it can be a little intimidating for a small and medium-sized business to say, how do I've never been there before, how would I do business? This is a great opportunity to kind of maybe marry together some vacation, but be able to get a feel for, I was thinking I might want to do business, or how would I make connections in various places. We've had trips to China, India, Ireland, Abu Dhabi's coming up in the spring, Dubai. We're going to Europe now. We've got Czechoslovakia, Prague. So people are looking for these opportunities, and so there is a twofer here. Is people want to travel. We are a global trading nation, and this is a great opportunity for us.
Well, you can kind of get a feeling of the culture without having to commit to anything. What we did in Ireland, and I think Ian and I were really happy with the outcome of it, we actually arranged for our group to meet with a local chamber of commerce over in Ireland, and it was a little bit of an experiment, but I think it's something that we want to continue the trend and arranging those types of meetings. So it was great.
So Gallagher, to connect this all together, we'll be talking later in the show about LeaderCast.
Yep.
And LeaderCast is another example of our local chambers bringing the world here, and travel through Indus and through and with Gallagher's and their support is bringing the world or giving the opportunity for our business members to see the world and sort of understand new marketplaces.
I think we're coming back with
joining us next. We'll be chatting with Jason Teagle, Executive Director of LeaderCast, May the 9th at Binghamton's, right?
Binghamton's.
Yeah. Tell us about LeaderCast, because I want to devote some time to this. This is an amazing event. I want to explain to the business community that might be listening right now what a great event this is.
Well, I have to tell you, and a lot of people know Ian and I are really busy people. We're getting pulled in all different directions, but that is one event where we just can't leave because the speakers are, first of all, they're world renowned. They're top quality. The presentations are incredible. The inspiration, from a business perspective that we all get, and the tips and ideas and some of the applications that we can actually go back to our businesses on the Monday morning and start to devise a new culture. So all comes out of this program.
Let's explain what we're talking about. What exactly is it?
Okay, so and the way I would describe it, it's $100.
Yep.
And it's all day. You get your lunch and your breaks, and it's 8:30 to 4 o'clock. So it's a full day session, but it's everything from inspiration. So it's billed as leveraging your influence, and this year the title is Beyond You, and we'll hear about that next. But it really is about leadership, and it's about saying, as a leader, we lead organizations, but each one of our staff members has a role to play in leading the organization as well and growing your business. And so from my perspective, it's really a tangible. This is a great value at 3 times the price.
Oh, yeah.
$100 is you're getting world-class speakers from business, from politics, from a wide range of perspectives that can really help your business grow and succeed. And so we're encouraging the business to take advantage of this opportunity.
And what it is, again, to further describe for those who don't know, it's a globally viewed, basically a telecast at various venues across around the world, primarily in North America. So you go to Binghamton's and you're seeing speakers who are in Atlanta, and some of these speakers, I mean, there's some pretty big heavyweights.
Oh, Jack Welch, Andy Stanley, Malcolm Gladwell. Like huge. Laura Bush is one of the speakers.
Desmond Tutu. So
I'm really particularly interested in Simon Sinek. He's going to be very, very interesting because he's really talking about that. Why that whole why thing. Why, as a leader, would we be interested in things beyond us? And I think that's really important from a leadership perspective.
And again, this is about building and leading your team. It's about this is international, it's global, and you're absolutely right. But you have these amazing presentations, and for us, it's also helpful for the chamber. We had 300 people last year. I think we expect 400 plus this year. So that's a great networking opportunity.
And there should be 900.
Yeah, there should be more. But especially for those small and medium-sized business, or for the larger business to get their young staff out and say, get out, network, learn some new skills. So, we're really excited about the fact that as an all-day event, we've got great corporate sponsorship, and but it is truly world class.
You have to be there. I know it's an entire day, and sometimes it's really difficult. But let me tell you, there is not one person that can say that has left that on 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon that have said they've wasted their time.
May 9th,
LeaderCast
at Binghamton's, a joint chamber effort. Go to the websites. Go to the chamber websites, greaterkwchamber.com, cambridgechamber.com for tickets and information.
Yep.
All right. On that note, we're going to come back and chat with Jason Teagle, Executive Director of LeaderCast, when Business to Business returns on 570 News.
Business to Business, powered by Save on Energy, a presentation of 570 News. Watch the live video webcast at 570news.com. We'll return with more Business to Business and success stories, connecting community through business on 570 News.
Welcome back to Business on 570 News, powered by Save on Energy. LeaderCast is coming up, May 10th? May 9th?
May 9th. We're really excited about that. It's a great lineup this year.
Joining us now, Executive Director with LeaderCast from Atlanta, Georgia, Jason Teagle.
Jason, it's Greg Durocher. It's great to have you here. How are you doing down there in Georgia after the cold week you've had?
We're good. We're just thawing out. It's the temperature has risen here, but we're doing great.
Yeah, I think you were mentioning just before we came on that you were 30 degrees below Anchorage, Alaska last week, so that must have been fun.
Yeah, our temperature hit 7 degrees Fahrenheit, so all the schools were closed, even with no precipitation on the ground. So just because it was cold.
Well, the good thing is things are really heating up with your program, and that's LeaderCast, where you broadcast live via satellite around the world, actually, to a number of satellite locations. And, of course, the Greater KW Chamber of Commerce and Cambridge Chamber of Commerce are really excited to be in your program and be one of the satellite locations. But more importantly than that, Jason, this year, we're really excited with the fact that you actually have a local homegrown guy from our area. Malcolm Gladwell is one of your highlight speakers, and it's going to be really exciting to see Malcolm, actually.
Yeah, we're excited about it as well. You know, he's really become a celebrity as of late. You know, for many years he was just considered a New York Times best-selling author, and really that's kind of moved to sort of the celebrity status. You know, he's covered magazines and TV shows and everything, and really his thought life and brilliance has led him to really an icon of thought and brilliance.
Well, we have, and this is our third year doing this together as Chambers, and I think it's actually Greg's the Cambridge Chamber's fourth year. So what struck me about this in the 3 years that we've been involved at the Greater KW Chamber is the quality of speakers you have, and I mean we had almost 300 people or close to it last year. We expect 400 plus this year, so we've been growing every year. And part of what maybe you can speak to is the world class nature of the speakers. So Malcolm is one that our listeners here in the region would know. He grew up in Elmira, Ontario. His parents, I think, are still there. But there's some of the other speakers, Desmond Tutu, and just world-class speakers, whether it's from business, inspiration, and thought leadership. So talk about the context of LeaderCast and why it would be important for our members and members of the public that may want to come to this event on May 9th.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we're really excited about, you know, every year we start with a theme, and we all get together in a room and we throw a bunch of ideas on the board and see what sticks. And you know, many months ago, as we sat down to think about the theme for this year, this concept of Beyond You was something that really rose to the top. And really, in a landscape of leadership that's kind of ridden with selfishness and pride and arrogance, we just said, what would be a phrase, what would be something that would capture the essence of thinking about others and humility and serving and giving and loving. And so this concept of Beyond You kind of rose to the top and really has kind of crafted our thinking and crafted the way that we're building the event for this year.
Go ahead.
And so for Beyond You, you know, it can go in a variety of different directions. You know, everything from, you know, servant leadership to social justice, and it can go in a variety of different directions. But we're really saying one specific phrase that Beyond You is leveraging your influence for the sake of others. And so it's just a phrase that we've been using to kind of be the undertone of all the decisions that we're making, the experiences that we're manufacturing, and that was very present as to the speakers that we selected. And so, you know, as you mentioned, Desmond Tutu, someone that really has lived a life of Beyond You, that has given of themselves for the benefit of others. In his case, the benefit of South Africa and the world as a whole. You know, on the other hand, Laura Schrock, who's also speaking, who made a significant impact in a young boy's life, and then over the course of many years invested in him in a way that's very central to the theme of Beyond You. So really every speaker that's going to be on the stage, every performer, every talent performance is really going to revolve around the theme of Beyond You and leveraging your influence, leveraging your leadership, leveraging your talents and skills for the benefit and for the sake of others.
I really think, too, Laura Bush, of course, is one of your speakers going to be coming on via satellite. But it really, the title, I think, really spoke to my wife and I were talking about it because we follow certainly American politics very closely, and we're very interested in the fact that Laura Bush, all through her husband's time as president and as First Lady, she really speaks to that beyond you. She was a very giving and humble individual through that process, but really kind of spoke to that type of leadership where she was, really empowering herself through her position as First Lady to think of others and to do things for others.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was actually just a little kind of behind-the-scenes information emailing with our team this morning. We're going to be doing the interview here in a few weeks, and just talking about what we want to accomplish with the interview. And that word giving was really present in our dialogue this morning. Of we really want to kind of capture what that essence of giving was through her husband's tenure and her tenure as the First Lady of the United States. And stories that have kind of risen to the surface of, her personally calling, her and her husband personally calling the families of troops that have come back from serving overseas, and things that happened behind the scenes that really weren't written about, or stories that were told that she really went beyond herself and the office that she was in to leverage who she was for families and members of the armed services.
Yeah, and I think the theme for practically beyond you and leveraging your influence is exactly what we as chambers is so important. And I know Cambridge has the same ethos as we do, but our tagline is building community, and that's in the broadest sense, because a healthy community is good for business. So, but practically, I mean, there's some actual business speakers that actually can help a small or medium-sized business develop their team, develop leadership in their own business as well. And Andy Stanley and some others that can give some good tips and some good new approaches for business. So talk a little bit about those, because what we're really driving at here is why a business should want to register to come to this event. It's good networking because there's lots of people around, but what are some of those tangible business things beyond some of those other speakers that will bring some different perspective?
Yeah, and that's a great point. One of the things that we really strive to do is really hit on all the senses of a leader attending or participating in LeaderCast. So not just hitting on the emotional or the inspirational or the motivational, but really trying to hit on all the different senses of a leader throughout their engagement with our brand. And so, as you said, that we do have the inspirational, but we also do have the practical, and we don't want you just walking away feeling inspired, but we also want you to have the tools to go back to your office or to your sphere of influence on Monday to have the tools to make a difference. So the way that we structure the day, we call it an attendee journey, where we think through, if I'm an attendee engaging with the brand, what are the things that I'm going to learn? How am I going to feel? What am I going to experience? And so the way that we've structured the day in terms of content is such that someone attending will not only be inspired, but they're going to be they're going to take away really a toolbox of tools that they can take back on Monday and implement right away. So speakers like Andy Stanley, Henry Cloud, Jack Welch, Simon Sinek, Malcolm Gladwell will really bring that the theme to life in a really practical way that's not only inspirational, but will be so beneficial to small, medium-sized businesses, leaders who may only be leading one or two people, or leading a small company, leading a startup, entrepreneurs, things like that. That it's not just sort of a huge macro world-scale leadership approach, but we do want to make it very hands-on, nuts and bolts for leaders at all levels. Well,
that's a great place to leave it, because after the first year that we were there, we actually had my staff had our strategic planning session, and I think it was Andy Stanley who talked about everyone in your organization as a leader, and we use that as the theme of our strategic planning session. So lots of great stuff for all our businesses.
I think it's also good, Jason, to point out that Ian McLean has got a little bit of ADD, and so it's hard for him to sit in a room for a long period of time, but he has never left one of the LeaderCast That's true. Sessions. He stays through the whole thing because they're so inspiring. But Jason, I certainly, from our perspective, we've been involved for 4 years. We want a tip of the hat to you and your organization because you do an amazing job of being able to bring these world-class speakers to local communities like this where otherwise we wouldn't have that opportunity. So wonderful job, and we're looking forward to May 9th.
All right. Thank you so much, Jason. Jason Teagle, our guest, Executive Director of LeaderCast. You're listening to Business on 570 News.
We'll be right back with more Business to Business powered by Save on Energy. Call in with your questions at star 570 570 2545 or 1-800-570-5715.
On 570 News. Our spotlight sponsor is Gallagher's Travel. And in connection with that, we're very pleased to have with us the Director of Chamber Travel Programs with Indus Travels, based out of Vancouver, Harish Shroff. Harish, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Ian, for inviting me here.
Yeah, well, and we, as we've talked about, we're really excited about Gallagher's coming on board to be a sponsor of this program, and we are very fortunate to have Save on Energy, helping to allow us to be on the air with a partnership with 570. But Gallagher's is now on board, and they do a lot of our chamber do our chamber travel programs at the Greater KW Chamber. So I wanted to maybe you can explain the relationship between Gallagher's, because when one of our business or members or member of the public registers to go on one of our trips, whether it was Ireland or Abu Dhabi or wherever, India, China, they deal directly with Gallagher's. So that's their point of contact locally. But what's the connection between Indus? Like how do you interact with the local travel agency?
Okay. Indus Travel is actually a wholesale company. We are actually based in Vancouver, and we deal with local travel agents in each and every location. For example, in Ontario, we're dealing with Gallagher's, in Winnipeg or other places. So we have two. One, we have British Columbia wholesale license, which allows us to do business in Canada, and we also have a California wholesale license, which gives us to deal in travel agents in USA.
So you do deal in this circumstance. You would deal with travel agencies and chambers right across North America. So you're dealing with Cambridge and KW, but you're all over Canada and all over the U.S.
Yeah, Indus has been in business for the last 12 years, and this travel program for chambers, we've been doing it for the last 5 years, and we deal with chambers across North America. So we're doing roughly around 100 to 200 chambers in U.S. I would say 50, 60 chambers here in Canada.
Well, I think it's kind of interesting too, because I've known Harish for a little while, and while Harish certainly in Ontario can't deal directly with the Chamber of Commerce, Indus can't deal directly with the Chamber. Our first point of contact is always it's with Harish, because he's trying to build those bridges of opportunity for Chamber members to get out and travel. But it's interesting, Harish, that you deal with both American and Canadian chambers of commerce, and you're interacting with them. What's the criteria that chambers put around in trips that they want to offer? Like, where do they get their information of saying, gee, we want to go to India, or we want to go to Hungary, or we want to go to Ireland? Like, where do they feed or get their information from to design or to at least decide where they want to go?
Sure. When we actually started this program 4 or 5 years ago, we started with destinations of BRIC, B-R-I-C. That's Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Those are the developing economies. So when we approached the Chamber of Commerce, they wanted to go to these places to see how they are growing, what kind of businesses they are doing, and that was the first point of destinations where we started. And as it has been growing, the chambers have done many trips to Brazil, India, and other places. Now the members are asking them for other destinations. So we have added more destinations. Right now we're doing roughly around 17 destinations for most of the chambers.
So explain, as an example, if we've been seeing more interest because of the European Free Trade Agreement announcement, that there are more businesses saying, hey, we know this is a huge marketplace of 500 million people to potentially sell to, but how do I get started, and how will I understand and learn about different marketplaces in Europe? So as an example, if we said, look, we want to do a trip to Europe, what were the things that you would talk to Greg and I about, as an example, and say, here's what the type of trip we can put together? How do you bring that information and that suggestion to the chamber?
Sure. To begin with, when the chambers are doing these programs, they are actually offering this to their members. They are bringing a discounted price to their members. This trip or this pricing is not sold out in the market anywhere else. So whenever the clients are traveling, they have to book it through the chamber, and they're getting a very lower price. I would say 15 to 20% cheaper than the market price. So that's the highlight of the trip. Mm-hmm. And these places that we pick up have something in to offer to the clients. They have cultural things to the offer. So if the clients are, for example, thinking of traveling to Europe or India or Peru, they would be very, very comfortable traveling in a group because the chamber has 40, 50 people traveling together. So these are groups traveling together, and they are traveling through a very safe source. We've been doing this for the last 12 years. And also, they get to meet the local people over there. They get to meet the local Chamber of Commerce also over there.
What's really interesting to me is the odd time, Harish, you and I have had conversations, and I say, well, in fact, we recently had a conversation. I said, hey, Harish, Vietnam is starting to be kind of a hot area for business, and, what about that? So when we pick a spot to go, can Indus just put that package together?
Yeah, we already have Vietnam on our list. I would just tell you that India is number one destination. Turkey is the next good destination. After that, Dubai and Abu Dhabi is also really doing good. And the very, very newest is definitely the Vietnam. It has opened up. The people are traveling over there. They have, again, so much to offer, so much history, so much culture to offer. It has been closed for quite some time. We can operate in all these places because we have excellent ground suppliers. And as I said, we are wholesalers, so that's our capacity. That's how we deal with the local companies. We organize these tours, and they're called fully escorted tours because right from the time of arrival till your client leaves the country, they're fully escorted. We have a tour guide who will pick them up at the airport, take them to the hotels. Breakfast is included. Some of the tours have meals included. Each and every city tour will have some highlights. They will go to these destinations. They will see the main places. So they are very, very secured, and that's how we organize all these tours.
Our guest is Harish Shroff of Indus Travels. That's INDUS, Travels, plural. And you can check them out on the web at industravels.ca.
Now, one of the things that we found, and over the last couple of years of doing this is, and I guess this is a credit to Indus as well as the expectation that our chamber members have, is describe the quality of this. I mean, there's tours that you can go on. I know a number of my staff have been on some of the trips to Ireland, and Lester from my vice president of finance and strategic initiatives went to China on our first trip, and he just said it was 5-star all the way. Like, great ground transportation in country, the hotels, the opportunities in terms of putting some of those meetings together with business people. So, what's the quality standard that Indus puts in terms of the type of trip that you're on?
Sure. All the hotels we use in all these places are 4-star hotels, and when you say 4-star, they are definitely better category hotels because the grading is different. They are large, luxurious hotels. They have all the Western amenities and very well taken care. Even the coaches that we use are fully air-conditioned coaches, not very old, 2 or 3 years old. All the ground suppliers that we are using, we are sending them hundreds and thousands of people every year, so they really maintain the North American standard, especially with the food, the quality of services, and we've had 99% good feedback from each and every one who has traveled on this trip. I'm just keeping 1% out.
I think what's interesting too, and we don't want to maybe put the fear that to our members that this is an all business trip, but also we don't want to also say that there's not some business element to it. So when it comes to other than maybe just going into a travel agent and saying, well, I want to book on that tour, what is it that Indus offers chambers from a flexibility perspective to be able to design their tours around the people that we're really attracting, which is kind of the upper middle-aged person in the community who maybe isn't that senior citizen yet and doesn't want to go on the senior citizen tour, but wants to go on a vibrant tour that'll show them business, culture, as well as vistas and sceneries and some of the more amenities. So how is it you work with chambers of commerce to devise that?
Sure. We have some set standard programs that we operate, but with each and every chamber, we do a lot of customization. For example, if a chamber wants to go to any destination and meet the local chamber of commerce, we can organize the meeting. And we also have the capacity to help them to meet the local like the Canadian office if they are from Canada, and the U.S. office if they are from U.S. Also, the age group is very flexible. We have people traveling from 45 to 65. Many of them travel on this trip because they feel very, very safe and secure for traveling with the chamber. Also because they have a few other things that they have benefit. For example, they can go to these places and see the cultural differences that they have between North America and them. They learn a lot of new ideas from there. We have had experience with clients who come back and say, they went there, they saw this idea, they've come back and implemented in their business. They really love that. Also, they make some new connections with the local businesses over there, and they come back and then they build business with them.
Well, there's lots more to say. We're going to have you back on there, Harish.
Thanks very much, Harish. Harish Shroff from IndusTravels.ca. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
You're listening to Business on 570 News.
Business to Business, powered by Save on Energy, a presentation of 570 News. Watch the live video webcast at 570news.com. We'll return with more Business to Business.
And joining us now from Water North Hydro as we continue to talk about the importance of Save on Energy is our guest, Jeff Quint. Welcome again, Jeff.
Well, thanks for coming back, Jeff. And over the last number of weeks, we talked about Small Business Week and some of the specific programs that you do at Save on Energy to help small and medium-sized enterprise. Then we talked about the business case, about why it would be important, and we talked about both the dollars and cents as well as the satisfaction of doing the right thing in terms of the energy and environment issues. But now let's talk about how we get started. How does a business get started with getting on with the suite of programs that Save on Energy offers?
Well, I mean, there's various ways to start, but I mean, if you're a business owner, I mean, the best way is to start looking around for ways. But you're not sure where to start. Well, maybe ask your employees. They probably are full of great ideas, and we find that when we walk through facilities, we stop at machines, we stop in different areas. These employees have great ideas of ways to save, and they've all kinds of ideas that you can start implementing. But then you're not sure what to do with those ideas, and that's where I'd say ask some other business owners, ask maybe some service providers you work with, but most importantly, bring us into the equation. Ask your local distribution company representatives to come in and walk through a process with you and explain where the opportunities are. We're here to do it when it's all free assistance that we can provide to you. So we're happy to come in and meet with you and start doing some free assessments on your facility and start showing you opportunities out there and then take the next steps.
So let me drill down on that just a little bit. So, yourself or John or Sarah, the gangs that you work with, if someone is just calling the phone and say, look, I'm not sure I want to actually have a site visit right now because I really want to kick the tires a little bit, you'd be able to say, hey, here's some of the other examples. I think when one of our previous shows you mentioned there's been over 5,000 projects in the region of Waterloo. So there's lots of experience to say, hey, here's a lighting issue, here's an HVAC, here's any number of different ways that people have benefited from the program. Is that the sort of thing that you can give them some examples of?
Certainly is. I mean, in small business lighting alone, there's over 5,000 projects in place. In our retrofit system, we're over 300 to 400 projects. That 300 to 400 projects turns into almost $4 million in incentives that have gone out in the community and driven over $10 million in economic benefit to the community through contracting work. But that's the we can give them the hard and fast facts about things, but really getting in front of them and showing them the difference. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the projects are an opportunity to engage staff, but they're an opportunity to improve everything. What happens is somebody says, oh, I need a new light, so they put a new light in where the old light is, but they don't look at the opportunities it presents, where we could put in a new light that does a new job, because businesses change and technology changes from year after year. So this is an opportunity to really engage your staff and really improve the environment that they work in, and really help the bottom line at the end of the day. So it's a three-way win for customers. But I need to encourage them not to be afraid to get people involved and go out there and get connected with us, because we've got a big network of people that we can bring in.
And that's why Greg and I and the Cambridge Chamber and the Greater KW Chamber are pleased to have you as our title sponsor, because this is really important for not only the community and residential homeowners, but specifically for those small and medium-sized businesses. We strive every day to have those member reward programs to save our members' money, and this is clearly one of those ones where it can make a serious dent in their bottom line or improve their bottom line. So in getting started, probably the best in order would be to go to the website, see what you have to offer, because it offers at saveonenergy.ca. Is that right?
That's correct.
And what's there? It shows you all the programs?
It shows you a suite of programs for businesses and the residences, and it kind of shows what kind of incentives are available out there for them.
Jeff, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. All right, gentlemen, lots going on at your chambers, but first off, where do we stand now on the fair and open tendering rant?
Well, we've made progress, and we'll leave the ranting aside. Other than to say, we did say we would invite all the leaders.
We're ramping up.
We're ramping up, but we've had success. Yeah. We have Tim Hudak actually, which is next Thursday on the 16th, speaking to a joint chamber event. He'll be coming as soon as we're done that luncheon to live to tape for next week's show. A full hour with Tim Hudak. So we're encouraging people to email questions into us, etc. So we can hear his view on what's happening or what are the issues that will be leading us into the next election.
And he'll be hearing what our issues
exactly,
are.
which includes the rant on tendering.
Absolutely.
We have confirmed that Andrea Horvath will be at another joint chamber event on February 28th, and she will be taping that morning before that event. And we've got. We're still confirming, but it looks like early March, Premier Wynne will be here. So we'll have all the leaders.
So we're getting to them on all to answer your question.
And because it's
directly.
early March and pre-budget, she will still be Premier.
Yep.
Yes,
we think so. So very quickly. We've got our Manulife Academy on January 14th, developing leaders at every level. January 16th, I just mentioned Tim Hudak at a joint chamber event at the Holiday in Cambridge. The 21st, we have our Second Foundation Chamber Young Professionals, which is at Waterloo Inn. On the 23rd, we have our usual network breakfast series, which is Speed Networking. 28th, very interesting, on January 28th, we've got Russell Williams, who's the president of Canada's research-based pharmaceutical company. So that's going to be really interesting in terms of, that healthcare component. Chamber travel we just talked about, but we're booking travel to Russia, and we think we're going to look at another China trip in September of 2014. And we have two new peer-to-peer groups, one for entrepreneurs and the other for manufacturing and technology. So really lots of stuff happening. I know you're busy as well, Greg.
Yeah, we have a great event. One of our signature events actually on the 29th of January. It's our Salute to Women in Business luncheon, and this year we're doing it a little different. We normally would bring in a keynote speaker, but we're bringing in actually four, two of which are from CTV that everybody knows, Nicole Lampa from CTV and Megan Furman from CTV as well, and so this is going to be a little bit unique because it's a room full of women, usually about 250 or 300 women. We're at the Armenian Center in Cambridge, and of course I'm usually the only guy there. Which is kind of okay, actually. But more importantly than that is I'm gonna actually MC this event with these four women, and we're gonna be working at something like The View. Where, I know it's a little unusual to have a guy sitting there kind of rocking and rolling with them, but it's going to be great. They're going to be bringing out highlights and some struggles that they've had.
What's the date for that again, Greg?
That's January the 29th, and there's still tickets available. Okay. So go to CambridgeChamber.com.
Another show has come and gone, gentlemen. Thanks so much, Ian McLean and Greg Durocher. You have been listening to Business on 570 News.